The stained glass erected in the inner space of the chapel is the oldest thing in Surf City. It does not predate the shoreline itself, but when the first 4 families appeared and settled and ravaged the land of what little native growers and plants already lived there, most refused to settle on the land and found reasons to avoid it even before the settlers. The stained glass washed up on shore as if a gift from a cosmic deity, and it seemed which cosmic deity was of the utmost importance as a question to answer to the 4 founding families. And this answer, this seeking of meaning, passed down, filtered down, tumbled down generation to generation. And as mortals are wont to do, they sacrificed to answer this question. At first they offered up bread in the places near the black iron soldering that keeps the sharp glass housed. Soft bread, crispy bread, bread without yeast, bread in the morning and in the evening, and yet there was silence from the assumed god. The gift and the deity did not crave their food. So then there was the garden. Some descendants still subscribe to the garden theory, though few ever take it to the same extremes as Mary Margrave. But though there are green ivies creeping up and nearly breathing in the light, surrounded by glass, gardens are also not the craving of a misunderstood god to have flowers before it. In whispered circles, some say the dissatisfaction with the gifts and tributes are what led to the water tower, to the sacrifice at the bicentennial. Those who speak such things use their bitter tongues, and they watch with strained eyes for messengers. They watch at certain hours with binoculars trained towards the tower, with bated breath, stock still. One amongst their number thought they saw the water tower heave a sigh once, a metallic sentinel watching over this perverted surf city. And though none of these gifts, nor any of these mysteries, are any clearer for all the years, those who worship in Surf City do so, religiously, regularly. And all use music. Bells. Bells to soothe the beasts, or the angels, or whatever form the deity is now. For the glass is safe and secure in an inner chamber of a chapel, but its mysteries seem wild and ancient now. The people fear it, and fear for the man charged with keeping its place and its peace, and understanding the mysteries of all things. Varick Omer is patient about his life's work in this place. He cannot remember a world and a time that his life did not revolve around this church, this building. He remarks to himself in vague passing and in what he reads that it must be usual for the life of Surf City to revolve around the church and his place of responsibility therein. But it is not in this way. For all its central note and community, the church is an alienated place. People attend service dutifully and come to take shade in the summer, but Varick Omer feels a sort of hollow loneliness. He spends many hours pacing and tracing the lines of the insides of the church with his feet and his hands, the threadbare edges of the carpet, the slicing beams that hold the roof. He counts them. It is a solid building, with varying grains and darknesses of wood, marbled in its own way. It is not a clear building to walk from the inside. It is not a steeple, nor a fish, nor a whale shape. It is not necessarily a maze, but it is built as though it holds up all of the gravity from the sky, and there is a shade in the near center of the altar that is pinpoint circular, though it leads nowhere and has no reason to be. And there are times, silly times, times late at night, where Varick Omer believes he hears voices. Sometimes they scream outside his little parsonage house, just to the right, but there is nothing there but brick wall, what he wouldn't give for a shed, a place to hold the things that live to the side of his entryway and take up room. And there is the glass, this remarkable foundling-stained glass. It is an evocation of Maria, he supposes. That is what he teaches, because his tongue will not allow for other teachings. The truth is, he does not know who she is. In this picture she is water, and yet she is the weight of ground. She is green and almost frightening in her entrancement, young and old in equal measures, and with closed eyes, so that connection is halted before the moment of insanity. In her hands she holds things that escape in brief captured glimpses, sparks of magic, of fire. She is Prometheus, both in hubris, but also love. His first duty, when the shadows of winter grow upon the land, is to move a set of mirrored soft columns, so there is always light upon her. Our Lady in green. Once he thought to ask the librarian about her, but as he left the building on this errand, he fell, and awoke again in bed. The self-same day started anew, or perhaps it was the next day. He doesn't know, and all the days being so similar, he cannot say which is truth. Holy water is kept near the front of the building. It is water-filled algae. Often, a parishioner just scrapes their finger delicately across it rather than dipping a finger in. Rarely does anyone actively touch the water. It is not for baptisms. On one particular day, Varric notices with curiosity how little water there is left in the basin. It looks as though someone came with a bucket and left little more than a cone of water in the tulip-shaped font. It is more curiosity than panic as to why this is so, but when she enters the space, he bristles and forgets the curiosity. He does not know why. They have never looked at each other before this. There is no flash of recognition from him, though Julie Cumberland knows him from the other place and time, and it looks too much like him. The same almost shaggy haircut, the same build meant to be menacing, but reading as so soft and natural. A different type of uniform, but not so dissimilar structure as the one from the other world. "We have no service today," he says by way of greeting. "I came to see you." They stand, with the tulip fountain and the missing water between them, and they regard each other. Julie regards it so odd that in a world so obsessed with color and the change of things, as she has seen with the grass on her Tuesday walks, that this goddess should be in green and engraved as such. The color of the world here, even in its fuzziness, the earth with its mid-morning blues and indigo-shadowed pavements, the crackling orange and yellow bronze of midday, the gray slate at night. How the grass doesn't absorb the dew of the morning, how it just stands there, stock still on its own, until it evaporates into nothingness. It was on one of those Tuesday walks where she saw him for a brief moment, gardening. She saw him kneeling, and it was for a moment. Just a moment. Julie Cumberland became overwhelmed, as though she'd just seen the figure in ghoulish green again. Why is he now here a priest? Why not a police officer again? Is there a difference now in this world? But if she can know, she thinks with foolishness, perhaps she can grasp something solid, something of this world that can give her one answer to calm her growing alarm. The sting is still fresh, the sting of the bullet that had missed her at the duel. "I could make you some tea," he offers. Julie thinks about the tea that Mary Margrave makes her, in small china cups with obscured and faded patterns, about how she'd moved and dumped and dismissed the cup until Mary is satisfied she drank a little, or until one of them gets bored of the charade. Her internal alarm about the drinks of this place is on high alert. "I would love that. A tour first, though. Wouldn't it be nice?" "You don't remember this place." His voice is gentle, without accusation. Julie can't remember a time when Varric was ever angry, even in this new universe, or new body, or a new man with a new history. His anger is small, perhaps unceasing once risen, but not something she is keen to know. It's not about remembering, it's about knowing. Knowledge is a pursuit, he counters again, speaking in a code against her own. It reminds her a little of the library, this chapel place. It is not as much a maze as the library. It is finite, but it is a wonder that Varric does not feel caged here. It is almost as though it was built to block out or siphon light to one place rather than be a whole building. And as she comes around a thoughtfully placed pew, she sees it for the first time and nearly screams. A traitorous gasp leaves her lips. The lady in green is staring at her, a predator with a gruesome smile. There is a spell here, clearly. The green on the glass drips down and dissolves just as it reaches the bottom of the frame. It brings to mind drool. Listeners, the alarm you are now hearing in your headphone tuned to cosmic frequency is the full commitment to downfall. It is a space from which one cannot return. It is commitment to trouble, a solemn and sad occasion. This lady in green was once what is no more and can never be again. To claw and scrape and claim as the lady in green has, this is a true warning to you about the nature of change here in the cosmic. This cosmic. The cosmic who we serve and who watches. This cosmic is not of conquest, not in the way of deities created to be such, and certainly not as the lady in the green. Surf City is an audio work of John MacDonald and John MacDonald Productions. It is meant for entertainment purposes only and is not meant to advise anyone on lifestyle, health, or spiritual/philosophical issues of their or any time. All opinions expressed are held by the characters and in some cases the creator of Surf City and Surf City Donuts, John MacDonald. Season 2's cosmic narrator is Jack Wicks. He walks. He walks with a scoop of algae water in his hands to home. He passes things in the inkiness of midnight. There was no lock to be had on the chapel door, no tripwire in the vestibule. The treasure to be found, guarded not even by the foolhardy. And when he reaches up with this algae water and places a hand over the place where the heart should be, for a moment there is a reaction, and in that moment, that beginning, it is enough, and it will spell doom for all in this universe.